get a kill. But we'll have to see here. Kind of an awkward pause, unfortunately enough. But
well, at least a majority of the action had already finished off. They were just both backing away, looking to regain their footing. Going into the next segment of the last hits or going back to heal. Not entirely too sure which way they would have went. Now, we also had, in terms of the jungler, Elise started from her blue. She went up to the red, so she's nowhere near the bottom lane.
Yeah.
But it's not quite so for Nocturne because he's going from blue to red. So if he does come down here, didn't quite catch his position at the pause. If he does come down for that gank, there's no summoners. Like, there's no escapes, no summoners. Caitlyn will have to do a desperation net, but Thresh could be on the menu. But does not actually look like Nocturne's interested.
We are back here, and Diggler has got to be careful. He's actually a lot lower than I remember him being.
Yeah, as I said, you might be able to bait out with the barrier, but, I mean, Annie, the best she can really do at this point is just throw down that Ignite. But Lao Pai is just really, really healthy at this point, so I don't think they can really engage.
And this is kind of interesting. This is a lot of what we're seeing kind of on this patch in terms of bottom lanes. Is lots of aggression, more aggressive supports seems to be what a lot of players are tending to now. And that's going to happen where everyone's going to bust all their flashes and they're going to try and kill the other bottom lane at level 2 or level 3 here. So a lot of action there, but it looks like both teams are going to be able to back off at some point, although there will be a small farm advantage here, as I think at least if KaBum aren't going back, they're definitely forced under their tower for a little while.
Now, at the same time, looking at Philip there in the top, or LEP, and Lysandra is actually going to head on home as well. It was the 3-minute mark.
A nice hook in there as well. That's going to be first blood there coming out. Very, very nice play there from Laupi. Just managed to hook that Annie up, and unfortunately...
I know what that's going to get blamed on.
Yep.
But if you take a look at the map, Elise was in that top area, and between the 3 and 4 minute mark is typically when a jungler finishes the first rotation, and if you do start blue into red, that's puts you in a really good position to do a top lane gank. That's exactly what Elise was setting up for. Lysandra, spider senses tingling, literally because Elise was in and around the place, but she actually did head on home. So really good sense of timing from the top laner there from KaBum. Did not really push really overly hard, didn't get caught out, wasn't going to drop to the first blood, but of course his teammate looks like he did that for himself.
Yeah, I think Nocturne was looking for a gank there as well, as you mentioned. He actually cleared his entire jungle and hit level 4 with double buff, so he was at a really, really good spot to potentially come down towards the bottom lane and actually get a kill down. Because as you mentioned, forecourt, no flashes left anywhere. But Annie was standing in definitely the wrong spot there, not safe under her tower, and does get picked up by Thresh.
Yeah, Thresh doesn't need that flash in order to land the chain. But, you know, back to that level 1 bottom lane fight, and it does look like we should be getting back into that in a moment. But, I mean, he initiated with the flash into a flay. He didn't use the sickle and chain in order to try to grab the kill. He flashed in aggressively. It's kind of ironic that he's the one that actually comes out of that one the highest hit points.
Yeah. Anyway, should be getting back into the game pretty soon here. Of course, we did have a couple of issues yesterday, unfortunately, but seem to have most things ironed out. Fingers crossed that we have smooth sailing for most of the day here. But of course, you know, at a competition with this much money on the line, I believe $30,000 US.
30,000 for first place, 60,000 overall. So it's a 30-20-10 split. But $30,000, I mean, especially US, that's, you know, a lot of the full-time population's full-time salary. I mean, just one tournament, you can get that here on an international stage. I mean, not only do you get the bragging rights, but the cash to, yeah, that's a good Christmas coming up.
Yeah, and of course everyone here at WCG is representing their countries as well, so there's a lot of national pride at this event. Part of the reason it's such a great event is that everyone's like, you know what, yeah, I play with different people, especially the European teams, you know, often play from lots of different countries, but when you come here for WCG, it's, you know, your friends, your home team, your country that you're representing. And look at that sunflower.
That's a Plants vs. Zombies sunflower.
It is.
Oh my goodness, I would not have expected that see that here at WCG China. But
apparently that's the mascot for the Brazilian team.
I mean, we had some cosplay yesterday, some amazing game characters coming to life there. We have a lot of plushies in and around the place, a lot of signings going on. That fan zone is always like constantly filled up. But I think we were talking about yesterday, like there was a Warcraft 3 player that walked by Moon, and it's just like half the convention walked with him. Like, he was Hollywood rock star, man.
Yeah, and down the bottom looks like Nocturne is going to try and defend Digolero here down the bottom on Twitch. He's actually kind of low too, got to be careful. Almost gets himself death sentence there. But a nice little Venom cast into Expunge actually will clear out that minion wave. But people got to be careful here. There's going to be a lot of damage done to this turret.
Yeah, but Digolero knows that. He's going to head on home. Dan's is actually going to come back with some wards, not even a health crystal. It's going to be putting him a little bit behind in terms of health because you fully expect Thresh to come back with at least the health crystal, a few wards, maybe a potion as well. But you got to get up those side wards. You got to get that health for some of these squishier supports. And Annie just dropping that first blood basically has no farm under about at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Annie, we do have a gank coming in there, booping, just saying hi, trying to see what's up there. If Annie can't be aggressive in her lane and really bully the other spot, I mean, Thresh is very good at that as well. at this point, the bottom lane's going to look really nice for EPHK just because it's 2 aggressive supports and only one of them gets to be aggressive. The other thing as well is we did see that farm difference is massive down the bottom lane already.
Yeah, that CS is very, very hurtful. And again, you're looking at the Thresh. He's coming back with that Caitlyn, and he does have that health crystal. The Vamps after coming out from Caitlyn as well. Only the double Dorans for Twitch, so you can definitely tell they're a little bit behind. This top lane is actually pretty neck and neck, 26-31 for their creeps, and not really a lot of aggression. Nobody from the jungle coming up either, but you also see the mid laners now heading back home for a little bit of their shopping sprees. So, you know, other than the 1 kill, it's pretty much just business as normal. Just got to get up the money.
Yeah, Lissandra pretty safe up there in the top lane against Shen, so people are pretty happy with how that's going out. Mid lane's kind of funny as well, actually. It's 2 melees and 2 sort of assassin champions, as you mentioned, so maybe not yet, but come level 6 we may see some action, but they've pretty much just been farming. Pretty close there. Zed just slightly ahead there at 41-36 now, as Diana's getting.
Now, the Zed yesterday, at least we had at least 1 Zed yesterday, and
yes.
they were always going for a lot of the armor penetration first.
Oh, this is going to be bad news. Elise going to come in, Repel moving in, that Yordle snap trap in a really good spot. The hook does land in there as well. He's forced to pop the barrier, gets flayed back there actually as the double flay comes out. Now Booping going to dive in there as well. Dan's very, very low, does get taken out. Incredible patience there from Booping. He was camping that bottom brush for quite a while.
Yeah, I was kind of curious if he was actually going to make that move, but all about that double flay.
Yep, now just Supergate here coming in just for a little bit of aggression. Wants to try and harass down Tin there in the mid lane, but yeah, Elise very patient, and 1 Yordle snap trap was the undoing there.
Got no ward up here.
Yeah, Shen's in a little bit of trouble here. No vision, no hope. As the snare does come in, he's actually going to get a kill though. He maybe can get out of the way. Shadow Dash Flash there just gets him out of the Nocturne leash range, and the ultimate's in there as well. Finally going to get procced off there. Does feint off a lot of the damage here, and now Nocturne could be in trouble. Yes, no boots as you mentioned, and he gets away. Beautiful play from Domox and an instant dragon as well.
Wow, so going from a 0-1 start in the last 60 to 90 seconds have seen us with 3 more kills and a dragon on top of that. Look at that gold lead coming out from Team Hong Kong. 3,000 gold at the 7-minute mark. Here on the Law Plus channel, I think this is the biggest lead we've seen this early.
Yeah, I mean, we had some fairly one-sided games yesterday. I think World Elite had a pretty, maybe that wasn't on this stream. I could be wrong. You've been here more than I have, most certainly. So I'll take your word for it here. But you're right, a very, very big lead here early on for EPHK. They've just done, I mean, I kind of said it before, in the LPL, they do play in the Chinese League, or they did at least last season. Didn't do too well there. I think maybe even finished last of the 8 teams there. But that's kind of like training in the hyperbolic time chamber, right?
Well, once you're training in China and you're up against like the best seeds of your countries, I mean, you get a lot of that experience. So you come up against KaBum, who does have a little bit of controversy, possibly missing their star player, that top laner, you know, break his leg. That's unfortunate, but you know, it's really hard to take a 15-hour plane ride with a broken leg. So, you know, maybe we are feeling a little bit weaker in terms of the team synergy, a little bit of the team communication with this stand-in player, and you know, 0-4. We're still looking for that first kill.
Yep, Shen looking good up towards the top now. So open up a little bit of a CS lead now after that gank and that miraculous escape out from the top lane in there as well. Bottom lane again looking really nice for EPHK. So we're going to have a trade here, and Shen really laying into Lissandra. Now Lissandra, kind of an interesting top lane champion against a lot of the bruisers. You can push and poke quite well, but if you ever get into a straight up fist fight, you're probably going to lose.
Now, Shen is remarkable that he does have a little health, but he has absolutely no magic resist items up against a magic resist laner, and he's still pushing her around.
Yeah, and it's kind of the thing. I mean, you're kind of priced into Sunfire Cape as Shen just because it's such a good item on you, but the health is kind of enough at this point, especially given that Lissandra doesn't have a massive amount of AP damage that you're too afraid of, and you have Feint as well to help you. He's pretty comfortable up there in the top lane.
Yeah, no penetration, double door and ring. Not exactly the big combo damage that you're looking for, but it is only 9 minutes into the game. And Philip there, you know, 40 creeps. Shen starting to grab a little bit of a lead there. Bottom lane, it's still that commanding lead coming out for Caitlyn, but at least mid is still going neck and neck. But that being said,
I think we're going to have a dive here. No, maybe not. Booping thinks about it. He wants to.
They thought about it. Yeah. Definitely looked like he was going to do it.
Got to watch out for that death mark, though. Booping has gone for the aggressive boots and mobility choice here as well, so going to be looking to make even more ganks happen here as Philip up towards the top. Going to take a big chunk of damage there from Shen.
Yeah, he's really going to have to depend on that tower in order to deter Domhawks there. But, you know, mid lane, we also had the Nocturne. He came into the race. We do got a ward there just a little bit off camera.
He's going to dive in now on top of Supercat. Forced to flash out of the way there. The death mark actually in there as well. Damage coming through. Maybe enough here with the red buff. Not quite. There was Stand United moves in. Going to protect him there, but a good cancel there from Philip as he pops the ultimate there just to cancel that Shen off. But Diana already bought enough time. They got a little bit of a shield, and that was enough to keep her alive.
Well, not necessarily too much of a loss that Shen didn't actually leave that lane, because now he does not give Lissandra that chance to catch up with his farm. But at the same time, the shield was just enough. Great plays, keeping Supercat alive, still denying that first kill coming out for KaBum. But Philip, oh, he's not looking so healthy up top.
Very, very low there. Glacial Path forced to be used there. Domox continuing his domination of this top lane here, really getting a lead here on Shen. And one of the issues with Shen here is you're going to have a bit of a trade down the bottom. Nocturne looking to try and get something done here for bit 1. Laopli as well does land the hook though, and he potentially can move in for the flash stun. Does get it there onto Kane. The damage will be the lantern, they're going to ride him out, but too much dot damage there. That Twitch is able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, the poison, you can never really, you got to put a lot of stock in your poison. Didn't even have that ignite, but it was a combo with the Dan's ignite. You see the support, again, aggressive support, picking up more ignite rather than those exhausts. But and finally, the first kill going the way of KaBum. There's a great Dark Passage setup. I mean, the team EPHK really did play it well off, but just too much crowd control at the end of it.
Yeah, if you guys can hear, we've got a little bit of crowd in front of us. That's the other Brazilian teams. I don't know which game they're from, but they're cheering on their boys here.
They're here in solidarity with their countrymen.
It looks like Booping going to move in there as well. A great stun moving in there. Great taunt in there on top as well. The Glacial Path, though, not enough, though, actually moves out of it, I think.
Denied.
Denied indeed, and that's going to be a kill.
You got to reactivate that ability in order to make use of it. Can't reactivate it when you're taunted, and that is going to be another kill going the way of Team Hong Kong. 4,000 gold pretty much at this point. Dragon is going to come back up in a few moments as well, but in terms of those items advantages, like Caitlyn at 11 minutes has herself that Bloodthirster. We do have the Sightstone ready to go for Thresh. First tower is going to go the way, unsurprisingly, to Team Hong Kong as well, furthering that gold lead, but they're setting themselves up really well.
Yeah, I mean, that top tower going down is really nice for EPHK. Going to continue to pad that gold lead here by getting more global gold there. Laopli once again looking for great hooks here on Thresh. Really finding a lot of these kills here. And if you can really bully around Annie especially, great things happen to you. And this Bloodthirster, as you mentioned, going to be really tricky here for KaBum to deal with. Ace of the Hole actually going to do a big chunk of damage as Twitch is forced to block it off.
Yeah, Jiggler really was a good idea, actually, to stop that from landing on top of Dan's, because if Dan's had gotten really too much lower, he wouldn't be able to do what they're trying to do right now, which is just try to aggress. But we don't have that flash on Annie. We do have the Tibbers, but we just don't have that gap closing ability. And you saw Jiggler getting a little bit aggressive there with the stealth as well. But they also got to be very conscious that that Dragon is about to come back up. They don't have any pressure in the top lane, and it's all about the bot.
They're going to dive now. Great Lantern out, though, as Kane manages to get out of the way. Actually, flashes as well, yeah.
Got to get out of that expunge range.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
I mean, that would have been a second kill because of poison, and that's not what they really want to do. They don't want to give Jiggler that big kill lead because he's already so far behind in the creeps. If they give him that additional gold, he could start equalizing out in terms of the damage, and that's exactly what you don't want to do when you're that far ahead already, as Team Hong Kong is.
Amazing little save there actually for Laopli, and incredibly aware play from Kane to realize he needs to flash out of expunge. Tib is here, going to do his other best job. I mean, he's a big bear. He's really good at taking Dragon here. But this could be advantage to Jiggler going to get himself wrapped up there. There's a Q coming up for Laopli. Flayback as well, but there's maybe a little too many here. The box going to get popped in here as well. Grouping going to try and get in. Repels out. It's forced to come back down. Going to try and find a way. The Lancer moves out, does click it away. The Deathmark though is going to ride it off. A Stand United's going to move through. Now Dombox trying to find it there. A Supercat is going to get into the mix there. Kane's going to pick up bit 1 there on Caitlyn. That Stan's going to be dead as well. Another kill moving in as Booping actually gets picked up by Annie just before she dies, and Jiggler not standing in the right spot, picked up by a Q.
No.
Just out of the range there. Now Dombox going to try and find himself another taunt. Forced a flash there is Tin, and he's going to maybe get out of this one safely. Living Shadows away. Really nice dragon fight there. And I thought maybe Laopli got in a little too deep there on Elise, but really just so Booping, but waited perfectly for his team there and managed to defend the Dragon.
A 3-for-1 exchange, and as you said, defended out that Dragon really well. 8-2 by the end of it all, but that was also a 5-on-4. Lissandra was nowhere in that scenario whatsoever, so, you know, KaBum, maybe it almost felt like a little bit of a desperation Dragon, because they didn't really have any of those wards. You see, it's pretty dark there on the map, and they didn't have any of that big pressure because, again, Shen, great split pusher, especially by the mid game, has a lot of mobility, and you did bring that to bear. And Lissandra was just kind of really out of that fight. So the only person that did get away out of that one was Tin. Now we're going to have a second pass here at the Dragon.
Yeah, Booping now finished up his Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Oracle's out now as well. 3 towers to 0 now. Going to be the second Dragon in a row for EPHK as well. You can see that gold lead there really piling up there. 7,000 now.
Yeah, just shy of 8. My goodness. 14.5 minutes in. This could be the first tower for the mid, but nope, it's not going to happen whatsoever. But it is really low, which means it is going to be pretty low-hanging fruit So the KaBum should be able to pick that up. If they do apply pressure elsewhere, should just be able to step in and just snipe it out, get a little bit of cash back in their pockets. So at the 15-minute mark, we already saw the Bloodthirster coming out from the Caitlyn. We see now the Hourglass at the 15-minute mark for Diana. Diana's sitting at 1-0-1. Has been creeping fairly well, losing a little bit in terms against Zed, but top lane.
It's a bit of a man fight here once again. Philip, I mean, just can't fight. Nice glacial path. Actually does manage to get out of the way. The Volpa blade actually followed over the wall, which was pretty sweet. I mean, Lysandra is pretty good at protecting herself with her E and her R, but just can't afford to stand against Shen. And when you can't move Shen out of your lane, he becomes an absolute split push monster.
Well, if Shen opens up with the taunt, you can glacial path out. It's when he doesn't open up that he's going to stick to you like glue. He does have that Sunfire.
Digalera in trouble now as well. Supercat actually just diving down, and he does have a stun. Tibbers actually, I think maybe thought could do a little more damage and turn it around for a kill, but Supercat pretty chunky there. Diana actually surprisingly tanky champion, and Tibbers going to chase her away. I mean, Twitch got saved there, but forced to use the ultimate, unfortunately. Domhog trying to go in there, wants to fight Philip, but great ult under tower there, but still going to take too much damage, and Booping coming in there as well. Clean 1v1 tower dive for Domhog.
Well, one of the side effects of Sunfire Cape is you can literally ignore towers for a good few chunks, and it's exactly what Domhog here did. He just got in there with that taunt, but, you know, forced out the ult from Lysandra, just unfortunately just not nearly enough damage on her end.
Shen going to be tricky to deal with here. Is now Zed coming in. Good stun coming through as well. There's actually Caitlyn there. Nice dodge of the build of a Peacemaker. He's forced the Living Shadow out. In fact, Domhog's going to die there a bit one as Nocturne managed to find him out. Now Spray and Pray moving in there for Twitch. The Dark Patch is trying to get somebody out there. The damage going to move in there. There's the kill there for Digalera. He lances all the way out. Once again, Laupi really saving his teammates with that lantern, but that was a nice win there for KaBum. I think they traded 2 for 1.
2 for 1 by the end of it. I mean, Lysandra wasn't in that party as well, but we also had a lot of ultimates just used. In fact, we don't have a single ultimate up for KaBum. Whereas Domhawks, I mean, he still has his. The Stand United really wasn't going to be much of a escape mechanism in this point. And Dan's is thinking, maybe I can go CS a little bit here, but up against that Diana, like, it's damage versus no damage. That's basically the big scenario there, and we don't have that Tibbers ready to go.
There's a 4-level difference, between the two as well. So, and he probably doesn't want to go and fight that here. Digalera just going to clear out the minions here in the mid lane. And KaBum still looking for that mid tower that's so low, but haven't quite been able to find it yet.
They're mercilessly throwing their creeps under it, literally under tower, but it's not going to be enough quite yet. You can see Lao Pi here, or Lao P, just defending it pretty well. Look at the difference between the two supports right now. 2-0-3 on the Thresh, 1-3-1 on the Annie, and the difference is just phenomenal. We have an extra health crystal as well as the Ruby Sightstone and mobile boots for the Thresh. Like, Annie is completely starved out of this game, and she's literally just becoming a Tibber stun bot.
Yeah, I mean, the items in general just across the board for KaBum are a little lackluster at this point, unfortunately. You can see they've mostly got components. I mean, Aegis is now on the way for Nox, and he's finished up through to the Ancient Golem, which is a pretty cheap item. Here's Philip going to get total on top of Supercat. Going to look for it, but a nice Glacial Path once again.
Yeah, no real way to deny it that round.
Oh, that's just nice repel. He's trying to get back down on top of someone, but actually needs to dodge a bunch of stuns. I think Booping a little too low there. Forced to flash out. Will live there as Supercat picks up the kill on the Philip. Another kill there as well, and he's going to go down now. Domhawks chasing a Digalera ace and the whole barrier there, actually. The Twitch will be okay. Yeah, a little too late, but thankfully didn't die. And no taunt there for Shen's going to keep him up.
Supercat could be in some trouble.
Very deep. They're able to 1v1. So taky on Diana. And a great Sonys as well. Moves out of the way of the Shadow Strike, but still dies. And you can hear the cheers from the Brazilians in the crowd. Very happy.
Actually, the first time we've had a reactive crowd here.
They are very animated. Even in stream chat, if you're ever casting online with the Brazilian team, they absolutely love to watch it.
Yeah, Brazil's the old next level League of Legends. It's just a phenomenon down there. I have had the pleasure of casting some Brazil games, and the support that they give each other is just overwhelming. It's really good to see them come out to cheer the countrymen. But at a score of 12-5, Hong Kong up 8,000 gold at this point. 4 towers, haven't lost a tower. Commanding lead of their Dragons, and just as we said, the items are making such a huge difference in some of these team fights. It's looking a little dim for KaBum to grab their first win of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Zed did finish up his Blade of the Ruin King. Twitch is on the way. It's almost finished now. He's, I think, 1,000 gold off that now. Just, yeah, everyone's unfortunately starved for gold here, and that's all the global gold that EPHK picked up in this game.
Yeah, 2 Dragons, 4 towers, and a few kills on top of that, but that is literally 0 global gold going the way of KaBum.
Yeah, no dragons, no towers, absolutely. And that middle tower still being defended here by EPHK. And now Twitch, he's in an awful lot of trouble here. Laupin's going to try and find the hook. Doesn't quite get there, and he's able to ambush out of the way. So Twitch does manage to save himself that time.
Doing the wave.
Yeah. No, you guys can't see, unfortunately, but the Brazilian crowd are absolutely wonderful to have.
Now, during that last fight, we had a kill off camera. It was actually Lysandra, and Lissandra is also kind of stalled out. Like, in the top lane, she's a little bit starved in terms of the crates, but sitting at 0-4-0 as well. I mean, she's not really doing too much. Let's see if she can turn that around this fight.
Glacier Park trying to move in there. Good slow from the Q in there as well. Flash Snedder with the Ring of Frost. They repel out, though. Now Nocturne trying to fight, but yeah, Booping's already gone out. Little low, though. Bot does Lantern out there as Domhox trying to dive through the middle of Cocoon. Just missing there. As Ting going to get himself chained up there by the Shadow Dash. He's got to be careful now.
KaBum's not really doing damage.
Nocturne flashing through that. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, lack of items means often lack of damage here. Flash out in there as well. Going to move Bit back in, flame back towards the tower. Good Timber stun though onto Booping. Is going to have to repel out once more here. And now Caitlyn finally in a good spot to try and do some damage, but not enough left here. And Supercat down the bottom, he's been busy.
That wasn't even a 5-on-5. That was just a 5 on retreat. And Supercat takes down one tower, going for the next, but yeah, EPHK, they might actually turn up the heat here.
Yeah, they find Bit now as well. The potential could get a kill through there as Kane moving in. Supercat picks up the turret down towards the bottom. This inhibitor now ready and open as KaBum do return down. Should be able to defend that one there. Dragon is alive but invisible.
So I was going to say, what did he just attack? But yeah, it is live, and it will be the third Dragon of the game going the way of Team HK. And, you know, Hong Kong, as you said, yeah, a lot. They might not have done so great in LPL, but that experience that they've gained is definitely showing here.
Yeah, you play against teams the likes of World Elite and OMG, IG, and all the Royal as well, who of course played so well at Worlds. Yeah, you're going to get pretty good pretty fast here. They had some, the games that they did win in the last season of the LPL are actually very dramatic against very good teams. So clearly it's been working out here. They're playing great here in this game, and KaBum may have a bit of a problem there with their roster, unfortunately. We'll see what they can get done. They're slowly getting items, but just look at the inventory on the other side.
It's 11,000 gold between these two teams, Pastry. And as the observer was actually looking around, we have Magic Resist now on top of Shen. I mean, he was already bullying around Lissandra to boot. Now he has Magic Resist, probably going to get into a Spirit Visage. We already got that Aegis, whereas Nocturne doesn't. Elise is just miles ahead in terms of that regard. We got Penetration Boots. We got Azonias. Like, Zed finally does have himself, you know, the Brutalizer as well as that Blade of the Ruined King, but it's a very empty board on the left-hand side here.
Yeah, I mean, those items Zed kind of wants at 16 minutes. That's kind of the magic time here. They're going to move in there from Philip. Booping could be in trouble. Stand United on top. Repel down in there as well. Elite's going to be okay here. His switch actually now going to get chained up there. Booping could be in trouble. Force the lantern out of the way, but not enough there. As Tin's going to pick up that kill now. Jigalera quite low. Dombox so very low there as Kane slays Philip. And now going to try and give himself alive to faint. We'll get him alive for a little longer. Now Supercat coming into the mix. There's a great double back there as well as the Moonfall comes in and a massive hook coming through for Tin as well. Triple kill coming in for Caitlyn is all said and done. 3 kills for her and going to try and make the ace here as well. Zed, the only one left, does flash the death sentence very, very nicely, but the ace in the hole going to move in now as well. Diana still chasing down. Living Shot is out of the way. The Ignite's on top as well. He's going to get the kill, and that's the ace.
17-7 by the end of it. I mean, we got 2 kills out of it, but I thought it was actually a little bit funny. Booping goes up. We have the Stand United shield on him, and as soon as he came down, there appeared Shen, basically killing his own teammate. I mean, it was a great effort to kind of shield him and leave him alive, but because of the position that Booping did descend on, it basically just sealed the deal for both Elise and Shen, and that's the only reason we got kills from KaBum.
Yeah, and KaBum had a good spot there, but Supercat just came in to clean up at the end there with Kane as well. Now diving again, straight onto Danza. Zonya's actually going very aggressive, and he forced to flash out the death sentence, and oh my goodness. Supercat just diving onto that poor squishy supply, picking on her. Now Digalera could be in trouble. That is going to be Diana getting out, I believe, flashing the way out of there. As looks like Bit1 is going to try and chase it down. The double kill there for Caitlyn. Oh, nice juke of the Dustbringer there. Good shield in there as well. The fear not quite enough there as the tether will actually leash off, and Supercat.
You're joking me. Supercat making the plays. Now Caitlyn's going to be coming in hot here with that Shen. They're going to be looking for the kill on top of Tin. But Nocturne, he's going to be running away. Tin is actually going to try to go on top of Kane, but unfortunately did not.
Yeah, I mean, Deathmark in there. Zed trying to get cute there and pick it off, but not enough damage there for Zed in this one. And now this bottom inhibitor very, very low at this point. And, you know, 10,000 gold is usually the time when we say, okay, you're very fubble.
Yeah, well, we're close to double that at this point. We're Zed at 15,000 gold between the two teams. And, you know, it's been just incremental advantages going the way of Energy Pacemaker from Hong Kong, and they've really snowballed this game into pretty much a surefire victory at this point.
I mean, that middle tower still hasn't died either, by the way.
They have 0 towers lost. KaBum is just absolutely started out of global gold. It is an amazing feat.
Yeah, and you can tell in just the gold difference here and how massive it is. And this is honestly a lot of what EPHK would have learned in the LPL. OMG are this team. They take objectives constantly. Oh my goodness, that's
double
disgusting.
the gold between the AD carries. Looking at you know, the mid, still about 2,000 difference there. 3,000 difference in the top, but the double difference almost coming out between Caitlyn as well as Twitch. And Annie, 3,700 to her name. by far the lowest amount of gold in this game. I mean, just the difference between her and her Thresh, like boots. She has boots.
Yeah. It was almost double the goal difference between Laopi and Dan.
That's a very telling story.
Yeah, and Domhox here is not particularly in trouble. Lissandra maybe going to try and make it happen, but thinks better of that path, I think. Domhox, though, looking to go in there now. Supercat going to dive on top. Lissandra forced to ult herself now as the Dark Passage going to move in. Good flash of the Death Sentence, actually, but nowhere really to run for Philip, unfortunately. So he's going to die to Caitlyn as that headshot's going to move in. Now Dan's in a lot of trouble here. Ace in the hole does hit Twitch there. Threads the needle, and Annie goes down there as well. Supercat going to pick up yet another kill. Unfortunately for KaBum, kind of hanging out in their own jungle. It's a little dangerous now to be there and try and take your own buffs. The rest of the team's not there, and easy cleanup there for EPHK.
Well, they have very limited ward spots available because they do not have any map control whatsoever at this point. So these kind of ambushes are just going to become more and more common, but it looks like we might actually be going to seal the deal.
Yeah, Shen going to ride in there. Tin actually going to get Shadow Dash up there as Domhox came out from the Diana that dove in there. Really just want to seal it, as you said here, and they should be able to close out this game here. Kane going to just guard the fountain here, and Jigglera going to try and fight here under it, but can't quite do it. But Caitlyn going to get pretty aggressive, maybe looking for it, but the Nexus is going to go down here. EPHK, very decisive victory up against the Brazilians.
So that means that